the reality is that there were too many of you guys at that time. And I mean, me being the SG, I was leading about 53,000 students.
I'm just trying to get people inspired. That's the main thing that I'm trying to do.
It was awesome to serve you as a student representative, and I enjoyed my time there. It is a beautiful part of my youth where I could really contribute to the building of this nation meaningfully and be able to measure my contribution by how many students or how many young people I can contribute in them making their dreams come true.
I was not gonna be able to do it and all of that. And I went into depression. Have you noticed, if you have this one thing, if there's anything that you want to do, it's this one thing. Mara, you've tried to do it, and it's not like you were not studying or you were playing and all of that. Mara, at the same time, you failed at the end of it. And
there's self-talk. Self-talk is the dialogue that you have with yourself.
Those who are in the forefront, the Black people who are in the forefront must again learn to write again, because it is a Black thing to write.
Good day, good afternoon. I hope everyone is good. I hope we are all well.
Hello guys, welcome to the Hadison Podcast. This is the Black Mind First Village. My name is Hadison. I am from Donald. My mom gave me a name, Nkosnati. My granny gave me a name, Tutuzi. And my father's last name is Khatebe. Hello guys, Hadison here. Welcome to yet another episode of the Hadison Podcast, the Black's Mind First Village. Thank you very much, guys. I've been waiting to come to you and share this opinion of mine. It's actually a question to each and every one of you who's watching right now. It's a question that I have on my head. It's a question that I have on my mind. It's a rhetorical question, and I think it's one of those good or best questions that each and every one of us needs to ask on this information age, whereby information or knowledge or words or views or opinions, they are just thrown at us each and everywhere where we go. Google, Facebook, like on the internet, there's always like information. Each and every person is sharing his own view and stuff. So we have a lot of podcasts now that are coming, that are growing, and each and everyone is trying to enforce or is trying to share his or her own views to us. But I have a question about these kind of things. Actually, the question started is the first time I had this question. It was on a conversation that Untate Bonang Mohale was having with another guy. I don't remember who the guy was. And he started asking this question, and it has developed to me to a point whereby, like, I just want, I'll wish to have your views, guys, regarding this question. So the question that I have, or the question that's on my mind, is why do we have to choose between A or B? Why each and every time, if there is a scenario, you either have to choose A or you have to choose B? You can't be in a position whereby you don't choose anything, or be in a position whereby you choose both of the options that are on the table. Why do people always have to force you to to choose between option A or option B? This question, when Untate Bonang was talking about it, he was talking about it in terms of a management, or a manager and a leader, because in most cases managers are frowned upon by leaders, because leaders in most cases, they become the face, or they become the known people for that particular organization, only to find out the managers actually do the dirty work. They do the operations. They make sure that each and everything is in place, that each and every stone is where it's supposed to be, each and every brick is where it's supposed to be at the right time, at all times. So managers, they usually do all the dirty work, and leaders, they come just to take the spotlights, and they look down on managers. So if maybe you are a person who like to be influential, you almost have to choose being a leader rather than being a manager, because being a leader is someone who's going to take all the interviews, someone who's going to do all the press releases and all those kind of things. But the question is, there's a relationship between management and leadership. I've made a short video with this thing of leaders and managers, because managers, they coexist with leaders, because without the other can't thrive. A manager can't thrive without a leader, and the leader can't thrive without the manager. So why do, as an individual, like myself, growing up on the corporate ladder, trying to climb it, in most cases, I find myself having to think as a leader, and then at the same time having to think as a manager, because the duties of a manager is to make sure that A, B, and C, they are where they're supposed to be at the right particular time. But then, as a leader, you almost don't want to force people to do things. You want them to do things. You want them to be inspired to do those things. But you have to understand that in a room of 10 people, I like to think there's only 2 people who will be like you, and the majority people, they won't be like you, because a lot of people, they find themselves in workspaces or in workplaces where it's not their dream to be there. So you find someone has started for something, but then because he or she hasn't got the job for that particular position, and then they settle to where you're working, and you there for passion. That's your passion. You want to be there, and you have to understand you're going to push yourself to strive for excellence, to strive for better results each and every day. But that particular person, during work hours, he's researching, or he's applying for the job that he actually wants. So if you want to lead that person, as much as you can give him inspiration or motivation or whatever, that person has no aspirations to that particular organization. There's nothing you can do to him or her. So that particular person actually needs a manager, someone who's going to hold him accountable, to say, you are hired for this, you have to do this at this particular time, you have to arrive at this time and leave at this time, because the contract says that. As a leader, as a manager, as a leader, actually, as a leader, in most cases, I think leaders almost, they usually, um, try to understand each and every situation. To they want to understand, they want to listen to you. Sometimes there's no reason for someone to even explain what the issue is. When you come to work, you need to know that you need to do X, Y, and Z. And if you can't do X, Y, and Z, you're in breach of contract. So why do you have to be either a manager or a leader? Because being a leader, it means that you are going to make a mistake when you have to discipline someone, and then you're going to think that maybe you're going to have hope, you're going to look at the potential. But even if someone has a potential to grow, if that particular person doesn't want to put the effort to grow, they're not going to grow. As much as you can do anything about that, like there's nothing that they're going to do, there's nothing that you can do that's going to make them grow. So for me, in that case, I like to believe that, I don't know what to call it. I don't know if there's a term for it, but someone who is both a manager and a leader at the same time. Someone who knows that at this particular time you need to inspire the person to be looking forward to do the project, or to be looking forward to do the work. And at a particular time, you need to know that at this time, now you need to get your managerial attires and discipline that particular person, despite being a friend, despite being someone that you like, or someone potential, and all those kind of things. Because sometimes rules are there to be followed. And for an example, some of the industries, they are very critical. So there are some things that you can't do at any particular time. So for an example, for an example, in the gaming industry, because I've been in the gaming industry, compliance is very important. So you have to comply. There's zero tolerance to compliance. If you don't comply to the rules and the regulations of the gaming industry, as an employee, your company can be fined a lot of money. So as a manager, you can't tolerate such things. As much as someone, you know that this person can work and do all those kind of things, but compliance, they must know that compliance is first priority. And there's no question about it, there's no discussion about it. But I believe, as a leader, you always, I think you'll always try to understand, or try to justify that particular person, to say maybe yes, you can't be good at all of those things, maybe you will be good at this part and not be good at this part. But I think if in a person, there's both a leader and a manager, it becomes an easier job to say. Because for an example, if you are a leader and a manager at the same time, the the leader side of you is the one that's going to push you to break boundaries and all those kind of things. But you can't be always pushing and breaking boundaries and opening doors and all those kind of things, and finding the projects. You're going to need to manage the projects. You need to to have to sit down and budget for the project, and do all the necessary processes that are required for the process to start and finish. So it is important to become a leader when you have to, and become a manager when you have to. And this thing, it go in my mind when I'm thinking about it, it goes from employment, it goes to spirituality. In terms of spirituality, as an African, there are things that Africans did before there was Christianity, and Muslims and all those kind of things. So when Christianity came, or when a Muslim came, they said you have to choose between being a Christian or or believing in on the ancestors. You can't do both. It's either this or that. Or when you have to take a medication, you have to choose if it's traditional medicine or it's this medication that we all get from our pharmacies. But the question is, why do you have to choose? Why can't two worlds coexist within you? Why can't you do both? Is it so difficult to do both of the things at the same time? Is it so difficult to be a Christian and perform your rituals and do all those kind of things at the same time? Why do you almost have to choose between A and B? Why do you always have to, if you're on the left side, why do you have to always try by all means to look at the bad things that the right side is doing, so that will justify yourself to be the right person? Because in terms of spirituality, I always ask myself that all the churches, they all pray to God. We all pray to the same God, the God who created the heavens and the earth, the God who made rain, the God who made the sun, who made the moon, who made the stars and the moons to make the nights not so dark. We all pray to the same God. The only difference is that the others, when they pray through Allah. The others, when they pray, they pray through Muhammad. The others, when they pray through Jesus. The others, when they pray through their ancestors. The others, when they pray, before they pray, they worship with songs. And the others, when they worship with drums. Bashaya igubu, bayagida. The others, when they worship with instruments, bashaya organ and stuff. For them, that's how they're trying to give the worship to God. Because as a Christian myself, I know there is something, there is a feeling that's that I get from worship, from my kind of worship, that someone else from maybe another church will not be able to get. The way I worship, the way we worship at my church, I know for sure it's going to be different from a church la bashaya khona igubu, or from a church la banganawo khona organ khona. Because the way situmisa ngakhona thina, it's the way we connect to our God. And then when we pray, then it doesn't listen to what we're saying, because at that particular time we're in the zone whereby he can see what we're feeling. He knows what we really desire. So that's how we worship. And abanye, they worship through drums, bashaya drums, bagide and stuff, up until they get to a zone whereby when they say thank you, when they're in that zone, they're in a zone whereby us Christians or people who are not on that particular terrain will understand. So why do you almost have to be a Christian, and when you're a Christian you can only be a Christian? Because, for an example, a manager can't answer some of the questions that the leaders can answer, and a leader can't answer some of the questions that a manager can't answer. I know for sure a manager doesn't know what the direction of the company in this coming 5 years or something like that, because in those meetings he's not there, because those meetings are not particular, are not part and parcels of operations. The manager is part and parcels of operations. But then once now you have to go to operations to say, what are we going to do to change this and this and here, so that this and this will be in place. I know for sure that a leader, in most cases, they are not there. If the issues of late coming, if the issues of absenteeism, if the issues of this and that, I know for sure leaders don't even bother about those kind of things. They don't even know how to talk to people who come late, how to discipline those kind of people, because their mind is not even like there. Like, you see, so why can't a person become both? Why do society or the world have to always make you separate? Because I remember when I started working, uh, uh, people on the industry that I'm working on the gaming industry, in most cases, when it started, especially the old people, when it started, they didn't need qualifications for people to work on the industry. And when we came with qualifications. So people, they were telling us that your qualification doesn't work here. It doesn't mean anything here. Your paper, what you've learned at school, when you hear it, it's like you don't know anything. So whatever that you went to study for, if it's 3 years or 4 years, it doesn't mean anything here. Why can't theory practitioners and practical practitioners coexist? Why can't on a particular person, why can't you know how to do things according to the book and how to do things according to actually doing things? Because if you've always been, let's say for an example, there's a person who's been assembling or assembling boards or creating or designing boards, circuit boards, computer circuit boards for 6 years, and then comes someone with a master's degree for 6 years. Those it's equivalent experiences, it's just that the experiences are different. This one has theory and then this one has practicals. So why are those people, they're not going to look at each other like as the same? Because one is almost going to say, I'm better than you because I've been doing this thing, or I'm better than you because I've studied this thing. I actually know why this and this happens. You only know how to do it. You don't know why you're doing it like that, and all those kind of things. So it's fascinating to me. It's a question that I'm asking myself. Why do you have to choose? Why do you have to choose? Now that we're going to this, what is it, LGBTQ and all those kind of things? It's the same question that I'm trying to ask. Why do you have to, if you're a guy, why do you have to date girls? If you're a girl, why do you have to date boys only? You can't date other gender. Why? Why is it forced? Why is it almost forced? If you're a guy and you want to date a guy, a cute guy like me, why are you going to be looked otherwise? By the way, I'm not going to date a guy. But it's just a question that I'm asking myself. These are the questions that I'm asking myself. Like, I'm trying to understand why can't things coexist? Because in most cases, from what I see, from what I believe could have been better. It could have been better for someone who've been doing something and someone who've been learning about that thing to be the same person coexist, because from what I understand, uh, someone who have been doing something, they are doing these things, and at some point in time they are referring to the theory that the person who's doing a master's is studying or is publishing. There are particular things that they do because someone actually studied them and tested them to be working before you can be a practitioner who's doing those things practical. Someone studied and actually tested them and said, okay, this is how to do this thing because I've tested it and this is how it's done. And then now, because you've been doing the things only, and then you want to say you better than the person who've been only studying about those things. And in terms of spirituality, because you studied medicine for 7 years, and someone who've been healing people when you're doing undergrad has been healing people, basebenzisa impande, basebenzisa whatever lokhu abakusebenzisayo, and because you have a medical degree from Cape Town University or wherever where you get it from, so you're going to say inyanga this and that. Why can't you guys coexist? I heard recently I'm not sure if it's a trend or what, but there are doctors, medical doctors, who go train to become medical doctors and then go again train to become healers. I don't know what traditional healers. I'm not sure if it's good to say traditional doctors, but healers inyanga. So uthola udokotela uyinyanga at the same time, uphinde ungudokotela wesilungu at the same time. I think for me that's what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure. It's something that I've heard, that you in some cases someone gets sick and then goes to the hospital, and then when it gets to the hospital they try to treat him for years and try this and try that, but only to find out things that don't work. And then from there they tell that particular person, no, izinto zesintu lezi zifuna isintu. Why didn't at the first time nje lo muntu asangena, people will see and diagnose that particular person to say, hayi lesi sintu lesi silungu, then sekulapha ngale ndlela, sekulapha ngale ndlela le. Because people will die if that's the case, which means that people die because some of the people will not live long enough to a point whereby someone is going to say, you've tried everything, so into zesintu lezi zidinga isintu and all those kind of things. Because we've heard as well ukuthi kune-stroke esiphekwayo manje, siyaphekwa sihamba ngenkomiji and all those kind of things. So if those are the things, it means that if you take that particular person to the hospital, they won't be able to heal him. Because that thing is a traditional thing. But if that particular doctor was a traditional doctor and a medical doctor at the same time, he was going to be able to identify the problem for the first time when the patient comes. Why can't two well coexist with each other? Why? It's a question that fascinates me. A guy who do roles that are usually done by females, he's frowned upon. So if a guy is feminine, if a guy he doesn't have the strength to lift things, if a guy he doesn't have the masculinity, and he's soft and he's charming and he's not a good enough guy, he's not a good enough man, because he can't do certain things that men do, because and all those kind of things. But why can't a person coexist within two worlds? Why do almost have to choose between A or B? Why? I hope you guys are going to answer me, because I've been trying to answer these questions myself, but it becomes almost impossible. It's almost impossible to find a guy who is an employer and an employee at the same time, because a company doesn't want you to have a company when you're working for them, for whatever reason. So why can't you coexist between the two worlds? It's a question that I'm asking myself, and I hope you guys are going to help me answer this question. And it's not only the two things that I mentioned, like management and stuff, I'm saving zini and spirituality. It goes to each and everything that you can even think of. Each and everything that you can even think of. Why am Gwaweni? You can wear white. You can almost, like, you need to wear black. Why is it like that? You so like you, there are things that are there. They're almost like rules, but they are not rules, because no one said it's a rule, but it's almost like a rule that if you are this, you can be only this. You can't be this and that. You can be this or that. Why not A and B? Why is it supposed to be A or B? Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for watching. That was the question that I have, and I hope you guys are going to ask these questions about each and everything that you are encountering in your life, because I know and I believe that I'm the only one who's having these challenges and who's having these questions about all these kind of things that are happening, whereby you almost have to choose if you have this and that, if you're part of the union or you're not part of the union. So you can't be in the middle to say I am in the union, because, for an example, if you are in the union and in the union there are things that you don't agree with, you can't go out, because if you're with the union, you're with the union, even with the things that you don't agree with. And if you're on the side of the employer, or so you even if there are things that you don't want the union to do, you almost have to choose a side. You can't be both. Why? My name is Hadison, and that's the podcast for the week. I'll see you guys the next weekend. Cheers.